Thanks, Christian. Haven't seen you in a while. Happy holidays, Zhao. So Zhao, what tennis string did you end up playing with? Because I know you and I were talking about string setups way back. I think like what was it 3 months ago? I think it was still mid fall. Thanks, man. Thanks, Samly. 458. How are you doing today? Nice. And guys, remember, if you guys have any questions on Yannick's specific tennis equipment, my boy here, Christian Doctor, who I played recently, and the trailer and the first part was actually published today. Shoot him an email or an Instagram. He's much more knowledgeable with Yannick's specific tennis equipment than I am, and he's a very friendly guy and also a very, very good tennis player and an even better tennis coach. Yeah, that's probably by. Oh, hey, what's up, Dill Pickle? How you doing, my friend? Um, no, good for you, Joe. That's Even though I did comment that the Babolat RPM Blast was a pretty soft string, and let's just say the Babolat RPM Blast is round, even though they market it as 8-sided. It definitely plays more like a round polyester. The Yonex Poly Tour Pro and the Technofiber Razor Code are the two softest polys I've play tested so far. So yes, I agree that if you want to get kind of like the same performance out of the Yonex Poly Tour Pro as with the RPM Blast, yeah, you might want to string it about 10% higher, which is what you did. So good job. Nice job, Ken Harris. Keep up with those hip thrusts. Hey, Tennis Elbow. How did the surgery go? That was within the past week or two, right? tennis elbow, is your recovery as expected? Like the surgery went as planned, and your road to recovery, even though it's been pretty recently, is up and coming, right? Hey, Shawnee. UTR, you're 15, so you're either so you're probably a sophomore or maybe a junior in high school. Any advice is I would say obviously keep practicing, and when this whole COVID thing becomes a little more mild than extreme. Obviously, keep playing as much tennis as possible. Play as many USTA and UTR tournaments as possible around your area. And during weekends where you're not able to play competitively, at least play one competitive match, whether it's at an outdoor public park, which obviously is the cheapest because it's free, or if you're able to hit indoors. More solid advice to you, Sean, is start networking. You might be a little bit too young for this, but it's never a bad idea to get ahead. But start networking using stuff like LinkedIn or YouTube. And if you really want to get college recruited, you want to have some sort of tennis recruiting video to be out there on YouTube, because a lot of tennis coaches, whether it's D3, D2, D1, or NAIA, actually use YouTube along with other platforms such as USTA, and the more popular one in my opinion right now is the UTR, to get people for their lineup to try out. So keep playing, keep hitting, and once you are done growing height-wise, start lifting and get networking. Because one thing they don't teach you, Sean A, in high school or college or any type of classroom is in the real world, in the business world, who you know and how you treat them, and your first impressions of people that don't know you, I would argue, are more important than what you actually know, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer. I would even argue engineers can get away with that, maybe, but it's definitely on your people skills. So brush those up. I know being a teenager at 15, for me that was 15 years ago, which is nuts. You have a lot of things going through your head, but have an outgoing personality, be able to deal with different people in stressful situations, and start networking. That's my advice to you. PJM, thank you. Thanks, Nick Scochin. Yeah, it's good. Good tennis elbow. More rotational, the better. Yeah, Peppers. I was getting a lot of static. I know I just got the haircut yesterday, so it still kind of looks kind of weird until it kind of grows out. But yeah, it was time for it. I definitely don't regret growing it out. I don't regret, definitely don't regret dyeing it, even though it was expensive. I'll probably do it again next year. Yeah, I think your ligaments and your muscles will start to get used to it, though. Tennis elbow. Ken Harris, what synthetic gut do you use, or multifilament? Right now, I use Wilson Sensation, which is, obviously, in my opinion, a little bit more expensive, but it's actually pretty good value for how much it is per reel. Oh, of course. Tennis elbow, you're in Minnesota, right? Yeah, that's not too far away. I have some contacts in Minnesota that I could swing by. But yeah, when you're all healed up, let me know. Mr. Shikshake, apologies if I'm saying that incorrectly. So when it comes to singles, I serve flat on my first serve 75% of the time. One thing you're gonna start to realize is if I double fault 1 point or 2 points in a row previously, I will actually hit 2 second serves because of nerves and a slight lack of confidence with my first serve, because my serve is either my first or second weakest part of my game right now, which I need to improve. Specifically, my first serve is my first or second weakest part of my game. So I typically go flat for the first serve up the tee because the net is lower. I might put in a little bit of slice, but still predominantly flat. But there are times where if I'm nervous, or if it's a big point, or if I double faulted a point or two ago, I'll put in a kick serve or topspin serve for a first serve. Oh, thanks, Nick Scochin. That's Is either Skokin or Skochin, and I'm like, I think it's Skochin. It's definitely not Skoochin, because there's only one O in your last name. Yeah, Minnesota's not too far. I could probably take that train up there. Heavy rackets. You're a bedroom punk. The theory for heavy rackets is once you're physically developed, once you go through that awkward stage of puberty, and your height is filled out, and you're starting to gain a little bit of muscle, and you're not a brand new tennis player. The rule of thumb is you want to have the heaviest racket you can swing with, without having it feel like it's dragging you back. So obviously with let's see. So my theory is I actually go slightly below what I'm comfortable with swinging before I feel tired, because it's a lot easier to add lead tape, aka weight, around the racket rather than taking weight off. So for me, because assuming there's no global pandemic, what I typically do is I bulk up muscle-wise between October and March. I bulk up about 15 pounds of mainly upper body. So I could swing like a 13-ounce racket, no problem, for many singles matches in a day. But when I slim down, because I don't lift as much during the summer, which is outdoor season for tennis, for me, I get a lot of cardio, so I'm in really good shape, but I don't nearly have the muscle mass that I did in the winter when I'm bulking up. So depending on the year, I actually do put lead tape sometimes, but I haven't recently because 2020 has been kind of a crappy year. So I'm just playing stock form with my Yonex Ezo 98, and I think I recently put leather grips on it to add a little bit more headlight balance. But I also changed the over grip to the Turner grip dry. So overall, the balance is actually different, but the static weight overall is the same. Oh, thanks, Mr. Shishake. Glad to hear. Oh, don't feel rushed. I mean, dude, Sean, you're not the only one that kind of feels rushed because of this whole global pandemic, which obviously is, if you look at like stuff like college football in the Americas, or even college basketball or NBA or any type of sports, when it comes to entertainment, it's thrown to a loop. So don't feel rushed. Take it one step at a time. Yeah, Tourniquet Dry is a fantastic string. Brian, who has been featured on this channel quite a bit, kind of turned me on to Tourniquet Dry. My only gripe is, for me, because my hands are so jacked up because of tennis stringing and some of the stuff I'm doing around the condo, and me always working with my hands, and weightlifting too. PGA M21 can probably attest to that. The overgrip with a leather grip underneath of a Tourniquet Dry lasts a set and a half, maybe 2 sets in singles. So basically every other hitting session for me, I have to rechange it, which isn't bad because I think it's only like $1.25 an overgrip if you break the math down, which isn't too bad, but it's just something I got to get used to be able to, regrip my racket every other time I get on the tennis court to play test some strings or play a tennis match. A tennis elbow for me because I'm built like David Ferrer. I'm like 5'8", 5'9", and a defensive baseliner. It's natural for me to retreat back to the baseline, like towards the tarp, and catch the ball at a more comfortable level of striking. Now, someone like Christian Doctor, who is 6'2" and is a natural aggressive ball striker, I believe he's the type of person, and Christian, if you're still here, he could probably attest to that he feels more comfortable taking it on the rise when he's mentally prepared. Your bedroom punk, just social network with an indoor tennis club if you belong to one, or you could actually use the UTR website. I believe that's a good one. Ooh, Afik Yuzni. That's a good one. That's a good question. ATP tennis player. I was really excited for Francis Tiafoe out of the United States because he won Delray Beach, I think, in 2018. He took Federer to 5 sets, but eventually lost either the first or second round of the US Open of 2017. But I have no idea what happened to him. I was excited for him until around 2019, where I'm like, where the hell is he? And I know some personal contacts that have beaten another young American, I think he's either 19, 20, or 21, named Tommy Paul, who's a grinder and a half. So I'm excited to see him, but I think he falls in the top 150 in ATP rankings right now. Other than that, I'm excited for Dominic Thiem, even though he did win his first Grand Slam recently, so props to him. But I'm definitely excited for Dominic Thiem, Tommy Paul, Francis Tiafoe, and Daniel Medvedev, the bullshit Russian. I'm really excited for him. My tennis goals for 2021, Ken Harris, assuming nothing crazy happens. I want to break into 10, maybe 11 UTR. I think that's a realistic goal, and the 11 might be kind of a stretch, but I have confidence in myself that if I get in shape, tournament-wise, if I get in tournament shape and not just bulk up like a meathead, there's no reason why I can't break into the 10 UTR range. Yeah, tennis elbow. I don't know if you've ever seen Andrew Rublev. He hits the crap out of the ball. Yeah, you know what, Shafiq Bantla? Yannick Sinner, he's a pretty interesting guy. He only started taking tennis seriously, I think, when he was 13, and he's only 18 or 19. I'd be surprised if Yannick Sinner doesn't win at least 2 hardcore Grand Slams before he's age 30. He has very good head on shoulders. Yes, bedroom punk, or even yeah. I mean, I don't know where you live, so it seems like you live in a low population area. But yeah, you just gotta find good tennis players. What's up, Lung Chen? Yeah, I did. Andrei Rublev looks like a mix between Carrot Top and ET. Like I know I kind of feel like an asshole saying that, but he's a celebrity, so I can make fun of celebrities. I have no problem doing that. And he's a very good tennis player. He'll win at least 1 hardcore Grand Slam, in my opinion, especially if he catches fire. But yeah, he's not exactly a charismatic tennis player. Yeah, Ken. A lot of people have like both in comment sections and Essential Tennis in my channel, and some have even messaged me. I was like, "Hey, you're sandbagging. There's no way you're a 4-5," and I'm like, "Well, according to the USTA, I am a 4-5. Like, I have never sandbagged. It's just the way that things have turned out. And yes, I do want to get bumped up. That's why I want to shoot for like a 10.511 UTR." Because if the USTA Midwest, especially the Wisconsin committee, looks at someone and says, "Oh, this guy's at 10.5 UTR," which is like D1 scholarship level if you're 18, and he's rated a 4-5, he needs to get bumped up. And yeah, bump me up. I want to. Go ahead. But until then, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with my team. Love my team. Thanks, Martin Tennis 12. Thanks, man. The Babylon Pure Drive racket is a good racket if you're a power player. I know I bashed it in the past. It's Dre. So you know, it fits you. Like it's kind of like with shoes. It's kind of like with tennis strings. What fits you? So obviously it's very popular for a reason. Babolat has done an amazing marketing scheme with all of their rackets and equipment, I would say, and putting it in the hands of Andy Roddick, who at the time was a huge up and coming superstar with a boatload of charisma and hair. Obviously now he's more bald than Nikolai Davydenko, but he's it's a really good selling racket. And it's a good selling racket for a reason. It's a damn good racket for most people. Djokovic is so hated because here's the thing. So Shakif Matla, I personally think Djokovic will have more singles Grand Slam titles than Federer or Nadal when all three of them are retired, because his game is better suited. I think he's in better physical shape given his age compared to the other two. And I would say he does have the drive. Maybe not as much as Nadal, but he's not lacking in drive. He's not lacking in that department. But Djokovic back in, I think when he was up and coming, he had kind of an attitude issue, but it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. But he did have an attitude issue because I think this was before he found out that he was allergic to gluten. He retired from a lot of singles tournaments, and some of them being Grand Slams. You know, I think Andy Roddick made a very he commented on it for I think Australian and the U.S. Open. I think that was 2000. Is that 2009? So he's had bad press. I will say he's had bad press. Does he deserve it? It depends. I mean, again, he's a celebrity. You can make fun of celebrities all you want, but you know he hasn't had the media on his side nearly as much as a Roger Federer, an Andy Roddick, or a Rafael Nadal, in my opinion. Yeah, I would. On top of that, tennis elbow. Yes, I think he did fake some injuries for a medical timeout, but some of them were actual medical problems. At least related to his medical problem with him being allergic to gluten. That's my personal opinion. I never played with not Black Widow Entity Productions, not yet. Damien Tran, I got my Wise tensioner. I think mid-July, and I love it. Some people say, and I did experience this with thinner gauges and slippier string, that when it's pulling, it kind of slips. So just be really careful about it gripping. Hey Brett, how you doing, my man? Damien Tran, that's a tough one because with Luxlon Alu Power, even though I think it's incredibly overpriced, I will give Luxlon the fact that I haven't played with anything that is like close to Luxlon Alu Power. So that is going to be a tough one. So I'll keep an eye out for that. Anthony Productions, add power to your game, get stronger legs, back squats, no joke, back squats. Sorry, Brett Anderson. Hopefully you hang out, listen to some low-key music will kind of make your day a little bit more relaxing. Hopefully a little less stressful. George Ding, riding the bicycle, like a machine bike, for 20 miles, which should be anywhere between, should be around 45 minutes for a normal human being that's in relatively good shape. I would say pedal at a moderate pace for a mile, and then sprint on that, pedal as fast as you can for half a mile, and then is interval training. So one full on for kind of like a moderate pace, and then one or half a mile for as fast as you humanly can. You're going to be working up a sweat. So if you could get some headphones and do that, that's going to be not only good cardio, it's going to be soft on your knees, it's going to get you some killer calves, and it's going to strengthen up your butt and core, especially on the standing part a little bit. Vig, Pure Strike is it's a good Babolat frame. It's the most control-oriented Babolat frame out there right now, except for maybe the Pure Aero Tour, or no, the Pure Aero VS, which I actually don't like. So the Pure Strike is it's a Babolat frame, but it's not a Babolat frame because it's so control-oriented. The issue I have with the Babolat Pure Strike, even though it has decent pop, it's flexible enough, and the specs are right in my wheelhouse of 16 by 19. Which is what I prefer with a 9/8 square size and good stiffness and good swing weight. It still feels a little bit hollow. I wish it just had a little bit more oomph to it. You could fix that by either your string setup, change your string setup, or maybe add a little bit more weight towards the tip of the racket. A vague, good option for that is the Wilson Blade V7 line that's out right now. Also, the Yonex is a pretty good. The Yonex V Core Pro series is a good one too. Tennis Elbow, I'm disappointed by the CDR Projekt Red's decision to release Cyberpunk 2077 in the state. So I have a really, really good PC. I have a 3090, and this PC that I'm streaming on and where I create all my videos on is about it's $5,000. And when I run Cyberpunk 2077 on this, I run it at max settings at HD, not 4K, just regular HD, 1980 by 1080, whatever the dimensions are. I played the Corpo line. Starting zone, and I've crashed 3 times in the first 10 minutes, so I got my refund on Steam. So I'm hoping they fix that, and hopefully they because I'm interested in, I like The Witcher 3. It was a CD Projekt was previously thought to be a pro consumer company, somewhat similar to me being a pro consumer YouTube channel. They better fix that. It's never the developer's fault. It's never the people on the ground floor's fault. It's the idiot management that decided to release this game in its broken state for the consoles and even the PC, even though they had the knowledge that it wasn't going to perform as well as they probably wanted it to be. Anthony Productions, Hyper G Soft, I'll be testing, I think, in sometime in January 2021. I haven't tested it yet. I haven't played with it quite yet. I want to, though. Uh-oh, Tennis Elbow. Would you change your perception of me if I told you I'm a business major and I previously had successful careers in sales, and now I'm a professional software engineer because I was self-taught? How would you feel about how do you feel about me now, Tennis Elbow? Thanks, Rigger Boy. How you doing, my man? Yeah, blonde will come back, either blonde or silver gray. Probably on my 31st birthday or summer. I haven't decided yet. It's okay. No, it's nice because, like, you know, obviously I had sales background for 2 years. I mean, it was successful, but I didn't last long because there was some ethics thing that I didn't stand by. But being a software developer for previous companies, I had to fight salespeople because they completely overpromised a product, and I'm looking at the requests and I'm like, no, we can't do this. You're gonna have to tell your client that this program does not have this feature. Stop lying to make the sale. This is unethical, and you're putting a lot of stress on the IT floor, and you're making the company look bad. Oh, I agree. So for those of you that haven't gone to college yet, like, here's the thing. I suggest you get a good degree, right? Get a competitive degree so in my opinion, get a degree. Get either a 2-year or a 4-year degree, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. You know, go to your specialty of, you know, the 4, 6, 8-year thing. But you have to understand, and I really didn't get this because my parents were immigrants, right? So in the old country of the Philippines, education was everything. And one thing that I realized that they didn't realize, and I had to kind of like feel my way out because I was the only child, I didn't have any mentors. You're going to learn more in your first 6 months of your full-time job in the career that you want to be in than the previous 12 to 14 years of schooling you've ever had in your life. You learn on the job. School, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, feel free to disagree with me. In my opinion, school is kind of like making sure that you have a benchmark IQ and that you could read and that you could, you know, have critical thinking. But overall, it's kind of teaching you how to learn. Where if you go into the real world, whether it's you're learning on the job or if you're figuring relationships out, or if you're starting to feel like, hey, you know, this is who I want to be, that type of information and what you do with that information, that's a lot more important than a 4-year degree that's, at the end of the day, an $80,000 piece of paper hanging on your wall. That's true. I mean, you know, let's not get too dicey here. There are other alternatives. So companies, obviously, they want, most companies, I would say, most companies out there want someone to interview that at least have a 2-year degree. So for most people, you know, if they want to become accountants, if they want to become CPAs in America, unfortunately, you have to go down the accounting path if you want that route. There's no other way around it. But, you know, I know plenty of marketing and salespeople that end up being financial analysts. I know plenty of, you know, successful salespeople and CEOs that, you know, only have a 2-year degree. So it really depends. You know, it depends on how risk adverse you are in your personality. And to be honest, something that we really didn't discuss on this type of topic is kind of like just luck. Me getting my first software job, which paid better, an entry-level software job paid better than almost all of my months as a salesperson, except I think for maybe 2, because those are really good months for me because, you know, it's up and down. But it was a lot less stressful, and I enjoyed it a lot more. But it just so happened that, you know, I got really lucky. And did I work for it? Did I make my own luck? Yeah, a little bit. But, you know, if this situation wasn't brought up to me, I would not be where I am today, where I'm able to make a good living, teaching tennis part-time, working full-time from home as a software developer, and making YouTube videos to get you guys more well-informed and to an extent entertain you, so you guys can make better decisions with your money that you earn. Yeah, Vig, to be honest, I think someone asked this earlier for me. Someone asked me if how often I hit a flat serve for a first serve. For me, I hit flat serves as first serve about 75% of the time. But if I double fault the point before, I'll end up hitting a second serve or a spin serve or a kick serve. as a first serve, just because I want to get the point started. And I don't want to double fault again. So never a bad idea. Thanks, Peter Wynn. Yeah, it's a classic Asian haircut. So it feels weird in the morning because I'm like, oh, I don't need to shower because my hair is like this as soon as I wake up. And even if I do shower, might as well save some water. The worst type of tennis player to face off your bedroom, Punk? I would argue hooks. I hate playing hooks. I absolutely hate playing hooks. Does that answer your question? Is that like a type of player that you're talking about? Because in my opinion, that is the type of player. That's also a type of person, and that's a shitty person. What's up, Victor Zhang? Vig, if a spin serve for a first serve is working the entire match for you, and your opponent hates it, there's no reason to change. I would just say keep an open mind, and when you're doing a practice match or if you're practicing, make sure that you still have like a predominantly flat first serve if you feel that is the best way to win that specific tennis match or that tennis point at any certain time. My overall game, Reeker Boy, I would say my first serve or my approach shot forehand. Those are my two weakest. So I'm working on that in the next 2 months. How often do I go flat on a second serve, George Ning? Absolutely zero. Never. Pro Hurricane video is going live, I think, on Friday. Shashank Singh. My final play test is Thursday with Brian, which is for Midwest or for the Americas. That's the day of Christmas Eve. So hopefully I'll have it out by Friday. What's up, Daniel Hong? I looked at half of your video. I have some pretty good thoughts, but I'm going to watch the second half tonight or tomorrow during work. And I'll send you a message. Don't worry. I haven't forgotten about you. Sean A, yes, it is worth developing a flat serve for a first serve. Shashank Singh, I love clay court. I love clay court. Yes, Stephen W. Sampras would get absolutely destroyed in today's day and age of modern tennis. Reeker Boy, my previous racket was a Wilson Blade 98 18 by 20 V7. It's a good string, or sorry, it's a really good tennis racket. The spin potential wasn't necessarily lacking. I personally thought the sweet spot was just a little bit too small. Thanks, Faceless Man. Yeah, I hate low flat balls that skid across the court because, you know, for first of all, it's a low percentage shot for your opponent. Second of all, you gotta like really lunge, and you really can't prepare for a hard flat shot. It's just not practiced nearly as often as it should. Thanks, Faceless Man. Shafiq Matla, yeah, carpet courts are kind of a nightmare. I personally am kind of scared because I think like I could roll an ankle a lot easier on an indoor carpet versus indoor hard court or indoor clay. But it's better than nothing. I mean, you gotta give it that, right? Alright guys, I gotta get going. World of Warcraft raid is about to start and they need me. So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down in the section below. I'll get to it later tonight while I'm looking at some people's video that they want me to kind of critique them on, which I definitely do enjoy in my off time. If you guys haven't already, hit like and hit subscribe for weekly notifications for tennis string reviews. I think the Pro Hurricane Tour is up next, and a little spoiler, I'm actually kind of enjoying it, which is surprising because it's Babolat. And also, yeah, the match play for the second match play for Christian should be out tomorrow, but I'll make an announcement on Instagram and YouTube as well. So keep an eye out for that. And if you guys haven't already, check out my boy Seria Tennis. It's gonna be one of the best 3-5s in the nation, hopefully. Those damn lefties. All right, guys. Happy hitting.